highlight of our conference. So Graham Knight is going to come and talk to us about birds of 2024 and what we might have missed. Graham is a very valued member of the Bird Club committee, and he helps to moderate the records submitted to the Bird Club and update the articles published on the website, as well as managing the new data page, which he is a very big driving force behind, making sense of all the data that we've got and making it presentable. And he's organised species surveys for the Bird Club, which you may be aware of, has a particular interest in counting nests in rookeries, and has recently started helping to conserve swifts in Hertfordshire. So if you haven't yet got a swift box, he will be targeting you shortly. But for the moment, he's coming and see what we missed. I know what I missed. I think I missed the best one. But
me too.
Yes, Graham.
Here we are. Nice new Bird Club logo, by the way. Thank you very much, Rupert, for that. So what did we see or not see in 2024? As usual, I'll start with some of the stats and then we'll look at some of the birds themselves. I always look at how our website records are doing, and the good news is that in 2024 they were up from 2023, which is not a very good year. We had about 1,600 more records in 2024 than in 2023, for about the same number of observers and about the same number of sites. Obviously, quite a lot of sites were setting at least one record in the year. In terms of the numbers, it was not really a very good year. 191 species submitted to the website. As you can see, that's a collection of the totals from the last few years. All the ones in blue are the official totals, if you like, from the bird report. As you can see, 2024 letting the side down a little bit, probably. This is before any decisions are made on rare birds, so there may be a couple more added to that, but there are likely to be a few taken off once decisions are made whether rarities are accepted or not. It could well be the worst year since 2015 or even earlier than that, unfortunately. But I was pondering this recently and someone said to me, actually, it's remarkably consistent. If you look at the last 7 years, the total is always within 5, between 193 and 198, which is really surprisingly consistent. By the way, some highlights. There's a first for Hertfordshire we're going to see. There is going to be a rare breeding bird that's been proved breeding for the second time in 30 years, and some other nice birds not seen for quite a long time. So, before we get onto that, I was just going to mention maps. If you've been on the website, you might see on the data page we've got some maps. This is they're all done by a chap called Dean Cornish. Dean is here today. Thank you very much, Dean. And this one is an excellent map, and there's an actually interactive version of this on the website. These are all the records for 2024, split into 1 kilometre squares, and so you can see where the most birding is done. You can probably see Amwell on the left, Rye Meads, between Hatfield and Welling, that's Cooper's Green, Standard Gravel Pits and Tring over in the west as examples. And what we'll do later this year is add all the bird track and the eBird records, and that will greatly increase the numbers. So we can have a really good look at the species totals for each square and see where the birds are, but also see where the gaps are. And I don't know how well it comes out, there's a lot of white. That means no records at all. So there's a lot of places to go and find birds where nobody actually is probably looking. So how did we start the year? We started the year in 2024 with waxwings. Always one of our most photographed birds when they're around. And the contrast with this winter couldn't be more stark because we haven't had any at all. But at the start of this year we had flocks of up to, I think the highest was 74 birds at Leavesden Green in a flock. 70 at Welling Garden City and 60 in Tring, and the behaviour of waxwings is often that the flock sizes build up as the winter goes on. So the January, February, March, there are always going to be more birds concentrated together, probably as they consume all those berries and the food sources run out. And waxwings actually stayed, that we had records until the 25th of April 2024, when the last birds were seen in Rickmansworth and St Albans. What other winter highlights did we have? We had this flock of 5 great white egrets at Rye Meads, dropping in for a short while. That's probably one of the larger flocks seen in the county. I think at one point there were 9 seen at a site a couple of years ago, but that's certainly the first time I've seen 5 in one photo in the county. And another much photographed bird was this black redstart that liked to hang around St Albans Cathedral, and was often photographed at the same time as the peregrine. Fortunately, it seemed to survive. Now, this or another bird, probably another bird, actually at the start of this year, was found inside the cathedral. And I expect we'll have some photos of that at a window on my review next year, where it regularly appeared. What else have we got to tell you about in the winter? There were regular hawfinch flocks, particularly at the regular site in Bramfield. There was a long-staying scaup at Hillfield Reservoir, and equally long-staying pink-footed goose at Wilston Reservoir. And in early March, in fact, it was on the day of the Bird Club conference last year, white stork was found. That toured parts of the county and proved to be a ringed bird from the reintroduction programme at the Knepp Estate. Also regular sightings of merlins and hen harriers from the north of the county, Deadman's Hill and the border to Wallington Road in particular, and a drake smew at Amwell. And another highlight of the winter, the starlings. I don't know how it's going to come out on the large screen. It's a little bit pixelated, but I think this video from Gary Hinton at Tring is quite something. How they don't miss each other, I have no idea. When I always look through the Bird Club database to see what the largest flocks are of the year, in case there's anything to pick out. The top 10 were all starlings at Wilston or the Tring reservoirs, varying between 20 to 40,000 birds. I don't know how on earth you estimate 40,000 birds, but that's the estimate for some of those flocks there. Let's move on to early spring, and we move over very much to Stanborough gravel pits, which was having a real purple patch in March and April last year. This flock of 9 Brent geese were there early in March. Around the same time, 4 Rockville pits, Curlew, Bartow, Godwit, and nearby goshawks seen at Crowwood at various dates in March, and a woodlark near there at Gorambury. My first plug of 2 plugs. Rooks were mentioned. I feel like that some days as well, especially when I'm trying to prepare a talk about the birds of the year, but I think he was actually scratching his head. But yes, the rookeries are counted every year, and I shall be shortly releasing details on the website on how we're going to count them this year. As many records as possible. If anyone wants to count the nests in a rookery, please do send them in. My main tip is to count them at the end of March rather than the beginning, because you'll get a much better count of nests than you will now. That's the first plug out of the way. No one will be surprised by the second plug later on. Let's have a look at a video. First to several from our chairman. Thank you very much, Rupert. I should say also Rupert might not know this, but he wins the award for submitting the most records to the Bird Club website in 2024. So thank you very much indeed. You don't get a prize. You want some mug or something, don't you? I know. So we had 3 separate Avocet records in Hertfordshire in 2024 from Amwell, and this one at Stanborough gravel pits. So let's watch Rupert's video. You'll be bored of videos of waders by the end of this, but never mind. And then what was looking like it might be the bird of the year. And this was only in Hertfordshire by a very, very tiny distance, but this black-winged stilt, 28th of April, was found in Buckinghamshire and seen briefly wandering into Hertfordshire in the Long Marston area, in the far west beyond Trim. First record in Hertfordshire since 1998, and a real credit to Mike and Ted Wallen, who tracked it into Hertfordshire in their I don't think they flushed it, I don't. What else have we got? Oh, here's another video. Grey plover, again by our chairman, again at Stanford Gravel Pit. Continuing the theme of black and white birds for a little while. And also talking about blackbirds. Terns, here's a black tern. This one was at Amwell. We also had birds at Tring. And sandwich terns at Stanford Gravel Pit, Amwell, and this lovely one at Fairlands Valley Park. Also groups of Arctic terns up to 46 and 43 were at Hillfield Reservoir and Wilston Reservoir, and also 4 turnstones at Amwell Gravel Pits as well. Other waders passing through in May included sanderlings, 4 sanderlings and 4 little stints, also at Stanborough. Hopefully we get good records like that again this year. How can I not put in a summer fluvish cattle egret? This is a real treat at Stocker's Farm in the regular flooded field. Don't see many looking like that. Get quite a lot of records of cattle egret now, but not many looking like that. And then we come on to what must be the bird of the year. So, this was the first lesser grey shrike for Hertfordshire, found on the 10th of May. And if anyone doesn't remember the 10th of May, there was the fabulous aurora the same night. I missed both of them. I decided I'd go to bed early because I couldn't go on the 10th of May. I'd go to bed and get up very early on the 11th to go and see the lesser grey shrike. And not only was it not there, I woke up to find my phone covered in pictures of pink sky, which I also missed. But yes, this bird was just inside the Hertfordshire border between the Telegraph Hill and Lily area. First record for Herts, and our first since 2018, when 3 new species were added to the Hertfordshire list. Unfortunately, as indicated, it only stayed for 1 day, but lots of people saw it. Let's have another look. There it is in action. And let's watch a bit of video. This is from Simon West, this video. I believe it was found by somebody doing a survey of corn buttons. So there's the encouragement to go and do a BBS or something similar. You never know what you might find. What else do we have around then? Spoonbills. These 2 spoonbills were at Amwell on the 19th of May, and it was clearly a good day because not only were they there, there was also this knot as well that stayed for a further 2 days. Into the summer, it was fairly quiet for birds, as it often is. Excellent record of a turtle dove, however, on the 2nd of July at East Hyde, one of only 2. And talking of birds just hanging on, just 2 records of tree sparrows as well. And looking at those 2 species, one wonders how long we will have them every year. They are still recorded every year, but only just. We had further spoonbill at Stanborough Gravel Pits, and quail were found really late in the year along the Baldock to Wallington Road in August. It's time for my second plug now. swifts. I can't do a talk without talking about swifts. Superb picture from Ian Williams here. We did a great deal of swift survey work, nesting survey work this year, and 801 swift nests were found in Hertfordshire, which is far more than there ought to be according to the population estimates nationally, and we think far more than ever been found on a single survey and accounted before anywhere. So at least in modern times, with swift numbers where they are. Anyone wants to talk about swift, come and find me at the break and I'll happily talk for half an hour or longer, I promise. Now, we're on to the rare breeders, and this one was a surprise to say the least. I'm going to play the first video and see if anyone knows what it is. You'll see a mouse. It's not the mouse. There goes the mouse. Being chased by something else. Suggestions? Nightingale. Oh, well, there we are. So, Nightingale were found by Clive Harding, and he heard it with the car window open, decided to hang around, and eventually set up a trail camera, and has managed to prove that the nightingales were breeding. Just watch the video, a little bit of further video of the nightingale. And this is the first proof of breeding of nightingale and Hertfordshire since 2017 when they bred at Ryan Meads. Prior to that, 1994 was the last proof of breeding, so that's only the second time in 30 years. And obviously superb footage to help prove that. There were two birds seen on the camera singing, and then food being taken away to a nest nearby. It's thought, unfortunately, that the nest failed because the activity stopped rather abruptly, but nevertheless really, really interesting and good to see that these birds are hanging on the county. And I look back at that map I showed you at the start and all those white squares and wonder what's going on in those white squares that no one is watching. Let's talk about some birds that are definitely doing well in Hertfordshire. What a photograph this is of the peregrines at St Albans Abbey. Peregrines did well again this year, thanks to Andy Day and Barry Travis for continuing to monitor them. There were 6 nest attempts in 2024. 2 of these were unsuccessful, but the other 4 produced 8 young between them, 4 males and 4 females, all of which are colour ringed. So if you see a peregrine, have a look out for a colour ring, because it might be one of our juvenile birds. And that's not all that the peregrines are up to that was interesting, because they were also collecting all sorts of birds for themselves to eat. This is perhaps the most extraordinary find that Andy found of corncrake feathers in Hertford. So the last live corncrake was seen in Hertfordshire in 2014, 10, 11 years ago now. The peregrines have done rather better than all the birders because corncrake, I think it was in October, Andy, is that right? Yes. Yeah. These feathers were found at the site in Hertford, and 44 different prey species feathers or remains were found at feeding sites or nest sites in Hertfordshire for peregrines. 12 species of waders alone were found at the Stevenage feeding site, and half of the 90 prey items at that site were waders. So it just goes to show central Stevenage or nearby, where these birds are finding their prey, there are unexpected waders flying over and being taken by peregrines. It really is quite extraordinary. I imagine the peregrines have seen more waders than most of the birders in 2024. A couple of them still made it, so let's look at a couple more videos from Rupert of waders that didn't get taken by peregrines. First thing is the wood sandpiper and Stamford gravel beds. And then Sanderling. We're just about into autumn now. What else did we have in autumn? Well, we had some nice passerine records, pine flycatcher, red starts, six tree pipits, and a woodlark, and most of those were over North Mims, most seen by Rupert, but not all. A dark face honey buzzard over Baldock, which is a superb record, and of course, more randomly, as they often are, a gannet, which flew over Luton Airport and into Hertfordshire. And then we had a good run of yellow-browed warbler records. This one was at Redwell Farm near South Mims, but we also had Ivel Springs, Wilston Reservoir, and amazingly a High Wyche garden that had its second record of yellow-browed warbler. So keep an eye on your garden in October onwards, never know what you might find. And a very well-watched bird at Verulamium Park, found I think in December, that stayed well into 2025 as well. What else did we have? Good records of black-necked grebe. This one's at Admiral's Walk Lake in Hoddesdon, and also three black-necked grebes at Troy Mill Lake, right down in the Colne Valley in the far southwest of the county. More hawfinches, probably more than the winter before. Most flyovers, but some flocks, including Aldbury near Tring, up to 25 birds. And grey plover, which was another great record at Fairlands Valley Park, first for the park, and a long-staying juvenile common scoter at Wilston Reservoir. Finally, let's have a look at some ferruginous duck video. Hopefully. It's coming up on us. Lovely video by Ben Miller of this bird at Batchworth Lake, next to Stockers Lake, from December. And that's where we end, really, because there are actually three ferruginous ducks found. Troy Mill Lake was the first, and then two different birds at Stockers Lake, possibly also a hybrid bird in there, and that might cause a headache for the National Rarities Committee sorting that all out, but nevertheless really nice to see a bird that we don't get very often in Hertfordshire at all. There we are, that's it, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Graham.